All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Maritza. I'm the customer success representative from Aplos Software. And if you are already logged in and joined in, this is the Aplos and Gusto payroll integration webinar. We're going to wait just maybe about a minute or so while maybe a few more people get logged in. But those of you who are already here, if you can see my screen, it should say Aplos Gusto payroll integration webinar, and hear me, please go ahead and use your question box just to sort of let me know that you can see and hear me speaking here. So again, just go ahead and use that question box just to let me know that everything is okay on your end. You can hear me and you can see my screen. All right, thank you so much. Got a few people that are responding. So thank you for letting me know. That means everything is working and good to go. So perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, my name is Maritza. I'm with the Aplos team. I'm part of the customer success team here at Aplos. And then I also have Brandon and Sam, who are with Gusto's team and part of the business development branch. So
good morning, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, and then again, this is the Aplos Gusto Payroll Integration webinar. So at this point, if everything is all right, we're going to go ahead and pass it on over to Gusto's team, Brandon and Sam. And then, Brandon, you can take it away. Talk about Gusto. Here, let me go ahead and pass it on over to you.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Brandon, and with me is Sam. We work on the business development team, and we're talking about what Gusto is, who Gusto is, and how you can sign up through Aplos and take advantage of our partnership before Maritza dives into the integration itself. So Gusto is a payroll provider. We work both in the payroll, HR, and benefit space. We provide all of these for small businesses. Payroll can be a very big pain point for small businesses, especially in the nonprofit sector. And through our user interface and user experience, we do make a huge time savings for business. So Gusto has been around for about 6 years. We have 4,000 account partners. We work with over 60,000 companies. And we do provide both integrated payroll, HR, and benefits, and are built for the small business merchant or the small business nonprofit. So there's some information about our company. Our biggest piece is our NPS. NPS is Net Promoter Score. What that means is after, if you've ever seen after you use a service or buy a product and you receive a survey that says how likely are you to recommend us to a friend, that is a Net Promoter Survey. The scale is on a scale of -100 to 100. As you can see, Gusto averages just over a 70 on that scale. Compared to other payroll providers, that is very high. And that really comes down to how much easier we make it to run payroll and compliancy. And also how fast you could actually run your payroll. So talking a little bit about the Gusto product, what does full service payroll mean? Full service payroll encapsulates the automation of calculating, filing, and remitting all local, state, and federal taxes, obviously including the exemptions nonprofits and religious organizations have for the Aplos customer. We also file W-2s and 1099s. We do direct deposits, and we give you the ability to print checks directly on location. We can handle different pay rates, pay schedules, and pay types, in addition to such things as housing allowances. And we have no contracts or hidden fees. On the benefit side, we offer a wide range of benefits, everything from health insurance through our brokers, to commuter benefits, 401ks, and all compliancy with ACA and HIPAA. For specific for churches and nonprofits, we do have exemption setups on the setup phase of your payroll and W-2 reporting. Additionally, with nonprofits, we have the ability to select 501c3 as the entity type to make sure that your business is being taxed the correct way and you're not overpaying any taxes.
Yeah. I'll just add in there, chime in, is that understand that ministers and clergy are going to fall under the Self-Employment Contribution Act, and so we want to make sure that we can incorporate all those different exemptions. On housing allowances, we can get those reported on your W-2. We're very well versed in automate the 501c3 setup to make sure that the proper exemptions are in place for unemployment. And retirement plans such as 403b can be put into Gusto to make sure that those are accounted for when it comes to taxable wages. So extremely well versed in all of the different church and nonprofit payroll pieces, and as well as our setup teams and our sales folks and our migration team can also walk you through all of these different pieces to make sure everything's taken care of. If any questions come up related to nonprofit and church payroll, we can hopefully help address some of those at the end of the webinar.
We also do partner with a number of pieces. So if you need a time tracking piece or any of the productivity suites, we integrate with a number of partners. That includes Aplos, and Maritza will actually walk through that integration after this. Mm-hmm. So where our price point starts out is $39 a month and $6 per employee, and that is for our core package that includes that automated payroll. So I want to walk through the onboarding process and how an Aplos customer actually gets into Gusto and takes advantage of our partnership and our special offer. So when going to the landing page, you'll go to aplos.com and go to the partner page and be linked out to this. From there, you will create your password, and with the password creation, you will actually have an account created. What's important to know is that although you've created an account, it does not mean that your free trial through Gusto has started. As we do offer the 3-month free payroll processing with the Aplos partnership, that payroll processing starts when you run your first payroll. So you can take as quickly or as long as you need to set up your payroll. Once that account's been confirmed, you'll have the onboarding flow where you'll fill out the employee information and the basic company details. From there, it's 9 easy steps of including the tax information, the bank account information, employees, and any paperwork that needs to be signed along with workers' compensation. So a little bit about the partnership and what we're offering. So to all Aplos users, we offer 3 months free. That is not 3 months to just test out the account. That's 3 months free of payroll processing. So if you wanted to run payroll at the end of the month, you would then have the months of February and March also free. And in terms of with a special promotion we have for today's attendees of this webinar, we'll be doing free migrations, which means that if you're currently on another payroll provider, you can contact me. My information will be here. Sam will explain that a little more.
Yeah, definitely. So the free migration service available for the attendees, it's going to be a really great advantage. We have a fully staffed migration team that will actually work with your former payroll provider to go into the different, whether it's ADP or Paychecks or a different service, and help get all the information that you need and put that directly into Gusto. I wanted to just reiterate the status of how we price. There's no annual contract, so you're not locked into using Gusto. So migrating onto the system, trying it out, getting that 3-month free trial to get familiar and integrated with the integration and all the different pieces within Gusto, that full service nature, any benefits that you end up offering, the HR side of things, making it easy to bring on employees, that can all be tested out, and along with the free migration to get set up on Gusto.
These are some resources that I will provide after the webinar. Additionally, this is my contact information, our support contact information, and our sales and support line. and I can be reached here if interested in that migration. We have enough time right now where you can run payroll in January. It's the easiest time to switch due to the lack of need of previous payroll runs. Additionally, we can try and do this for February too. Just reach out and we can see how we can get you on board. I'll give it back over to Maritza.
Awesome. All right. Okay. All right, guys. So once you are all set up with Gusto and you set your payroll over with them, you are now ready to link your account to your Aplos account. So, and I forgot to mention this, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the question box, and we're going to do a Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. So I forgot to mention that earlier, but feel free to put those in the question box. So here I have my Aplos demo account. So this is what yours will look like as well. So when you're ready, what you're going to do is you're going to go into your fund accounting tab, and then you're going to go to payroll. And this is what you're going to see initially. So if you do not already have a Gusto account, you can sign up for one straight through the payroll tab in your Aplos account. You'll just click on the green button that says sign up for a Gusto account, and you'll be taken to their website where you can create your account from there. And like Brandon mentioned, you will get 3 months free of payroll processing if you sign up through this green button through our link. Okay, so once you already have your account, if you're already established over there, you'll just click this login button to sign in to your Gusto account. So I already went ahead and signed in with a demo account just to show you what it'll look like after you log in. So once you log in, you're going to be prompted to map your payroll. So you're going to see an alert that's going to tell you, hey, you have accounts that have not been yet mapped in your accounting. Go to the setup. So you'll click that go to setup button, and this is where you're going to land. You're going to land in the global account mapping screen. So this is where you're going to tell Aplos what expense accounts and what liability accounts you want your payroll to post to. So most people don't have this many. So depending on what you set up with Gusto depends on what kind of accounts you're going to need to map here in your payroll screen. So a very common one that probably everyone will have is salary expense. So when you go in here, all of these will be blank, but you'll go ahead and you'll click into this box, and you're going to get a drop-down list of all of the expense accounts that exist in your chart of accounts. And then from there, you're just going to select the one you would like to use for your salary expense. So depending on how your account is set up in Aplos depends on what kind of accounts you'll choose. So you'll go in here for the withholding accounts, you'll choose a liability. For anything else, you'll choose an expense. And the software will kind of help guide you, because when you click into the box, it will only allow you to select expense accounts. Or if you click in a withholding box, it'll only allow you to select liability accounts. So the software will try to help guide you select the appropriate accounts there. So once you do that, you'll just fill it all the way down, select your accounts, and then you'll just click save. So once you do that, it's going to retrieve your payroll, and you're going to see all of the pay runs that you have run through Gusto. So here I have some examples. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the import button next to the one you would like to bring into Aplos, and then it's going to show you your individual employees. Now at this point, what you can do is you'll notice this little pencil icon right next to every employee. What you can do is individually map the accounts per employee. So a common reason why you would want to do this is if you had an expense account specific to an employee. I see this a lot with churches where they'll have an expense account specifically for their pastor's salary or assistant's pastor salary expense account. So If that is the case, what you can do is you can go in here, click on the little pencil next to the individual, and then you can say, for Isaiah, I want to use the Isaiah salaries expense account. I want his pay, his gross pay, to post to his specific salaries expense account. So you'll map that one out. You'll put in that you want 100% to go to that account, and then the rest you can leave blank. Whatever you leave blank, whatever you do not map out individually, will default to what you chose in your global account mapping screen. So that's how I like to explain it to customers, is when you do your global account mapping, think of that as the default. So if you don't do any individual mapping, it will default to use the accounts in your global account mapping. So that's what this is used for. And then we're just going to click save, and it'll tell you here how many accounts you have individually mapped out. So you'll see I have one for Isaiah. We'll do Patricia. I'm just going to click the pencil next to Patricia, and I have an expense account for her. So I'm going to say Patricia salaries, 100%. And then I'm going to go down here and save everything else. I want it to default to what I chose in my global account mapping. And that'll be step 2. You only have to do this the very first time you link your Gusto account to Aplos. After you get this initial setup done, you don't have to do this over again. It'll default to what you've saved. And then you click next. You'll go over to step 3. So step 3 is to review your journal entry and import it. So here is the screen where it will show you what it is going to import. So this is basically the journal entry that will post to your Aplos account. So you'll take a look here, make sure everything looks good. So you'll notice here's my Isaiah salary individually, here's my Patricia salary individually, everything else rolled up into my salaries expense because I didn't map out any other individuals, and then all of my benefits, taxes, and so on. And then my withholdings, right? So if everything looks good there, I'll just click import and exit payroll. These 2 buttons will do the same thing. They will both post the journal entry to your Aplos account. The only difference is if you click import, it will keep you on the payroll screen. Import and exit payroll will redirect you to the journal entry in Aplos. So that's what I'm going to click. And voila, here it is. So here is that journal entry posted to your Aplos account. And you can just feel free to review it here, make sure everything looks good, and you're good to go. And that is all. That's all it takes. So again, the mapping is only done the first time you link your Gusto account. After that, this is what the process will look like. You'll go into payroll. You'll see your pay run. You'll click import. You'll say next. Import and exit payroll, and that's it. 3 clicks and you're done. So that's all there is to it. I know a lot of people may have questions as far as reconciliations, because this looks like just one big old journal entry, which it is. But keep in mind, when you reconcile, it will break it down as far as the amounts that Gusto pulls from your bank account. So you'll see an individual transaction you can reconcile for the taxes, and then another individual transaction you can reconcile for the net. So when it comes to reconciliation, everything will be there separated so you can reconcile appropriately. But that's all there is to it. And it's as easy as that. So let's see. Let's go back into the payroll. All right. So let's see. I think at this point that is all I wanted to discuss. If for some reason, let's say you manually entered in the pay run into your register and you do not want to duplicate it because you've already manually recorded it, there is this dismiss button where you can dismiss a pay run so that you do not import it and duplicate your entries, by mistake. So that's there as well. But I think that pretty much concludes the Aplos Gusto integration portion on Aplos' side. Brandon, if you don't have anything else to add, are we ready for Q&A?
Guys, I just have one thing to add to on the initial setup is everything within related to the integration is going to be set up on the Aplos side. So the mapping of the accounts, figuring out the entries to come in, you'll see the connection as active within Gusto. So just think everything payroll related, everything benefits related, all the actions to process payroll, employees to view all their paychecks on the Gusto side. On the Aplos side, that's where we really structure those entries and add that granularity that we just saw in terms of where you want expense accounts to go and all those different pieces that will be set up on Aplos and be taken care of and be able to pull those things in so they hit your general ledger and your P&L correctly.
Yes, correct. And if you guys have any questions as far as how do I do this, you can always feel free to call our support line or email us at support@aplos.com, and I'll put up our information here in just a sec after we're done here. But it varies by organization and by church. So just depending on how you have those accounts set up in your chart of accounts and how you would like to see this information displayed on your income statement, on your profit and loss reports, depends on how you're going to want to map these out. But again, if you have any questions, our support team is definitely here to help out in guiding you on how to do that. All right. Anything else, Brennan, or ready to tackle?
Ready to jump into Q&A.
All right, awesome. So we're just going to look at our question box and see what questions have appeared here that we can help answer. All right. So first one I see here is, how much does it cost to migrate?
So the migration will be free. Typically, it's not something that we do for every Gusto customer, but we want to offer it to those attendees of this webinar.
All right, awesome.
And I'll just add one more thing there. So for migrations, a lot of our customers, a lot of our churches and nonprofits, a lot of them just sign up on their own. It's not that much work, but the more employees you have, the more burdensome it is to migrate your information. So we know that this time of year people are very busy, and that's why we wanted to offer the special opportunities. So we'd have to move pretty quickly though for January. So it's just to set expectations. If any of the folks on this call want to join by the end of January, we need to move probably today or tomorrow to start that process. Otherwise, we can always do February or March.
Okay. Awesome. All right. And then I think the next question I see here is, after the 3 months free, how much is it a month?
So our prices per month break down into two prices: a monthly base cost depending on what package you receive, and a per employee cost. Our entry level package is $39 a month base and $6 per employee. So if you are a 3-person organization, you are looking at $39 a month plus $18 a month per employee.
Yeah, and I'd add that plan is a full service payroll plan. So all the payments, filings, taxes, unlimited admins with access, no additional charge for the Aplos integration, no additional charge for us to broker any benefits. So you're seeing everything related to our payroll service offerings in that core plan. You can set up the exemptions specific to the nonprofits and the churches there. So everything included within that 39 and 6. And then I would also say that there's no additional charge for processing payrolls. I think one thing that we remain super competitive and price sensitive for churches and nonprofits is you could process a payroll every single day if you wanted to. We know that there's strict laws around terminations of employees and new hire payrolls that are going to be off cycle. This is all included in your Gusto fee. And again, 3 months free to try this out, see all the different capabilities. You can cancel payrolls, reverse payrolls. You're never going to get hit with an additional charge. And then the last piece is that includes W-2s and 1099s for any W-2 employees or 1099 contractors you're paying. There's no hidden fee at the end of the year for us to submit those and provide them.
And on top of that, we do have both email and phone support available on a wide range of hours every day of the week. And these support folks will actually be able to help you walk through any errors you might have. And they are payroll experts, so they can dig into any exemption workthroughs that you need.
Awesome. All right. So next one here is, how long would today's offers be available? For example, our pastor wants to possibly migrate from Sage to Gusto starting January 1st, 2020. Is since she doesn't like migrating during a calendar year.
They'll still receive the 3 months free if they wait until January, but the migration service is going to be applicable to the number of employees that they're bringing over.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll still always, the 3 month free will always be an option no matter what time you switch, but the free migration services is going to be what's limited. But what I'd say, migrating payrolls can be tough mid-year, but leveraging our migration team to bring over all the employees, all of the previous payroll information, get your account all set up, help with a bank account so that employees can get paid on time. It's almost just as easy as if you were going to do it yourself at the beginning of the year. So we don't want you to view that as a barrier necessarily, but this is a tool that can equip you and make switching a lot easier.
Perfect. All right. Now take this next question. It says, on the global accounts, can you leave any of the accounts blank? And you can't. So if you leave any accounts blank, that little pop-up window will keep coming up saying you have accounts that are not linked to accounting. Please go to your setup and complete that. So you'll have to map out every account in your global account mapping in order to import your payroll. So just make sure to map out every account. And the reason for that is just because depending on what was set up in Gusto, depends on what accounts would be needed to post your payroll. So that account would probably be a part of the journal entry, which is why it is required to map out. All right. And then another question was, can you get help from Gusto with setting up the mapping, or do you have to do this on your own? Aplos will actually be there to assist you with your mapping, so you can get a hold of us here at support@aplos.com, or you can call our support line. I'll go ahead and give the number towards the end of the webinar, and we can assist you with the mapping of your accounts. All right. And then, so next question, where are the employees in contacts? As far as Aplos is concerned, you wouldn't have contacts in your contact list for your employees. Your contact would be Gusto as far as the way that the journal entry gets imported. So those individual employees would not be counted as contacts. Instead, you would have a contact called Gusto, but your employees would live in your Gusto account. Am I correct, Brandon?
It's the same here. Yeah, I would take that. So under our people tab within the admin view, you'll see a list of all your employees. We also highlight which ones are still requiring onboarding. Part of the API integration is to incorporate and pull in those employees for the general ledger setup within Aplos. So as they become fully onboarded within Gusto, then you'll be able to add them within the employee by employee mapping in Aplos. So you'll see those. We have a people tab. We also have a number of HR features and departments and different pieces that you can start to segment your employees. But there you'll see fully onboarded, ones that still need attention, and then a lot of other different HR components that you can divvy out and run reports and look at your different employees within the Gusto system.
Perfect. And then a related question, well, kind of a related question. So it says, can different employees be drawn from different bank accounts? Sam, you only have one bank account?
Yeah, so we're only allowing for one bank account per company, but that doesn't limit the number of bank accounts that employees can set up to be paid with them. Right directly within their employee account, they can add, I think it's up to 5 bank accounts, so savings accounts, checkings accounts. They can use percentage allocation, and there's no additional fees for direct deposit for employees. Our support team does a really great job of if we're unable to locate a bank account, we do test transactions just to find those correct accounts that employees want to be paid in, and that also goes for 1099 contractors. Having the bank account set up and empowering employees to do this really also speaks to the HR functionality within Gusto. We know that it can be a huge pain to bring on employees, onboard them into the platform. So we take that approach of what can we do to have that employee come and start work at the nonprofit or church on day one, not have to bring in blank checks or passports. We have W-4s, I-9s. You'll see that employee account is extremely valuable in making hiring and offboarding different employees. So something that we incorporate is, yes, again, multiple bank accounts, but every piece that you need for an employee to start working at the nonprofit or church.
Awesome. Perfect. All right, so next question is, I use QuickBooks right now for church payroll and to pay the taxes. How do I pay the taxes through Gusto?
Yeah, I could take that one. So part of onboarding is, and working with our onboarding team, is we look at the historical tax liabilities that are outstanding. So if they're outstanding and you're working with our team, you say, hey, how much do you still owe to the IRS? What's that outstanding amount? And something great about Gusto is when you switch to us and process that payroll, we'll actually take those funds and remit those payments to the agencies. So we're helping with those historical tax liabilities that are outstanding and making that transition as smooth as possible. Our team is extremely well versed with people coming from different payroll companies and how to handle those payments. And that's not just federal, that's state, that's local. It's simply working with our team, letting us know what those outstanding tax liabilities are on your books, and Gusto taking care of remitting the payments to the agencies and incorporating those tax amounts into the filings that we'll have to remit at the end of the quarter.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. And then I believe we've already answered this one. So is the 3 months free a promo, or can we take advantage of this at any point?
Yes. So the 3 months free can be taken advantage of at any point. One thing to note, Rita showed how to take advantage of that promotion through the app. There's also a landing page through the partners page on aplos.com. It's important to know that to take advantage of the 3 months free, you must go through one of those two ways. If you sign up for Gusto through another way, you won't be tagged as an Aplos customer, and it's a little bit harder to apply that 3 months free.
Yes, correct.
And also, one last piece is the 3 months free does not start until payroll is actually processed. So beginning and kicking off the onboarding doesn't necessarily mean that clock is ticking by any means. It's once that first payroll is run, then we'll start factoring in 3 months. So just want to make that distinction for anyone who wants to start up on the onboarding. It's not a matter of quickly onboarding. It's making sure everything's correct, everything's ready to run payroll, and then you'll start your 3 month promo.
Awesome. All right. Next question is, where is the profile for the employees and the W-4?
Yeah, I can take that. So, we kind of danced around it to a certain extent, but every employee will be able to adjust their allowances and sign their W-4s. Those are made available within the employee account. They're also available for the admin under a documents tab, so you can locate those W-4s as well as I-9s, as well as any other custom documents you've uploaded. So employee handbooks, Gusto will allow you to upload custom documents and permit employees to sign those. So those can all be viewed within either the admin account, or if it's specific to the employee, within the employee account, making sure everything's on file. We know from a regulation and legal standpoint, those need to be held, particularly I-9s, need to be held on file. So we're using this full HR portal to control all the documents and filings that you need and may need to reference for any sort of audit or anything along those lines.
Awesome. And I can vouch for that as an employee, because here at Aplos, we do use Gusto to process our payroll. And from an employee standpoint, it is super easy to navigate. So once you log in, you have a nice little menu where you can see, time off, your pay stubs. I can pull my W-2, for my taxes. Very easy to navigate. So on an employee standpoint, I personally love it just because it is so easy to navigate and find what I'm looking for. So. All right. Does Gusto handle tipped employees?
Yeah, we definitely do handle tipped employees. So we handle also a number of features around tips. We do FICA tip credits. We do minimum wage adjustments, cash tips, credit card tips, because we know that those need to be reported separately on your W-2s. Everything can be incorporated within the Gusto. It will also pull over into Aplos via the integration based on the different types of wage accounts. So we make sure to call that out as a distinction and put that into our system on the employees that are making those tips. And then we'll be the ones that make sure that the taxability of those tips is taken care of and remitted correctly.
Awesome. All right. Next question is, when the cash payment imports from the bank statement, should we just hide the transaction since we are already importing the journal entry from Gusto. So I'll go ahead and take this one. So if you guys are not aware, but in Aplos, you can link your bank through bank integration if we do support your bank. And essentially all that does is it allows you to download your transactions from your bank and then map them out to the correct accounts and import them. So if you have that going on, if you have your bank linked through bank integration, make sure that when you see those payments coming from Gusto, make sure to hide those because we will be importing them from the payroll screen. So yes, make sure to hide them through bank integration and import them from the payroll screen. All right. When using ADP, they take the money directly from the account and pay the taxes and payroll. How does Gusto do that?
Yeah, I think we already got into that a little bit, but that falls into the historical tax liability, where one part of onboarding is, we have to know what taxes are outstanding, haven't been paid, so we don't remit double payments, and we need those for W-2s to incorporate them into filings. So that's part of the free migration service, is taking care of any amounts that ADP or paychecks, different pieces that have been submitted, because as has kind of been called out, is payroll becomes an annual thing, and switching mid-year, we need to take all the different pieces that came at the beginning of the year, and at this point, it's most likely just one or two payrolls, which makes it pretty quick to get people onboarded. And Gusto again will be impounding something as state unemployment, if that's still outstanding, or some sort of local tax. We'll make sure that those get taken care of with any payroll provider that you transition from.
All right.
And if this is something everyone wants to see, Sam and I can kind of do a quick 5-minute demo of what the payroll run looks like and what the tax remittance looks like, to show that breakdown and how it works.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. So, and I think we touched on this next question as well, is can Gusto withdraw payroll expense from more than one checking account? And I believe you mentioned that you can withdraw from one bank account, but employees can receive a direct deposit to multiple bank accounts?
Yeah, that's correct. It'll be one company bank account, but you can use multiple accounts per employee to receive the direct deposit.
Okay, perfect. And for this next question, it says the majority of our staff are paid out of a variety of funds, grants. Can you show an example of entering two different payments funds for a single employee? Yeah, we can definitely show you an example. I'd say feel free to give us a call here at Aplos. Our number, I'll just go ahead and shout it out here. It is 888-274-1316, and it can also be found on our Aplos' homepage. So if you just go to aplos.com, it'll be on the upper right corner there in case you didn't catch that. But yeah, feel free to contact us or through email, support@aplos.com, and we can show you how to do that.
Hey, Maritza, just thinking through this, if we have a few minutes here, I think we have till the top of the hour. If you want to pass over the screen control to us, we can do a quick high-level overview of what the Gusto platform looks like. Seems like there's a lot of questions on the employee side and maybe on the run payroll side. So we'd be happy to show a quick demo there if that's something that you're willing to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So let me go ahead and pass it on over to you, and you can go ahead and take it away.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so we're going to show you what a demo account looks like, because what's a better way to actually see how Gusto functions than to get into the profile. So this is an example of the payroll admin profile. We have called it out that there's no limit to the number of profiles or admins you can have. We also have a plan where you can add restricted permissions, which is a new feature we're really, really excited about, where you can say, hey, my accountant, I don't want you to actually process the payroll, but just view the different reports. Example of an admin profile. When I go to the People tab on the left side, this is where you'll see a list of all those employees. You'll see the W-2 employees and the contractors, and you'll be able to quickly hire an employee. So we talked about that, the W-4s and the I-9 process. By selecting add an employee, come into this employee view, you'll put in that basic information, some compensation. We have completely customizable time off policies. So we have sick, holiday, vacation, can be accrual or per employee. And once they've been set up, you'll see that there's this option to invite the employee to enter in their own details online. So every employee will have their own employee profile account at no additional charge. So I'm going to hop in here, and you'll see exactly what an employee sees. You can confirm that they've been paid. You can look at your next paydays. You can add payroll reminders if you want to know when those paydays are. And as I scroll down on the left side, you'll see now I can look at the different people. I can look at who my manager is. I can look at the org chart for the entire company. I can pull up all my pay stubs. I can ask for time off using time off requests. Enroll in the different benefits. So we talked about how Gusto is HR, and we do health benefits and 401k and all these different commuter benefits. As an employee, I can see those. And then under job and pay, and I believe this was one of the questions, I can set up my payment methods. So you see I can add different accounts at any time. So I can now divvy up where my pay is going. And under federal and California in this instance, we can adjust the allowances and additional withholdings, which will trigger another W-4 to be generated inside. So every employee can have access to this account. And then the last thing in the employee account here, you'll see there's a document section where you can sign that handbook. You'll see the W-4s, you'll see I-9s if they're housed in Gusto right there. And now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and switch back to the admin profile and quickly show you what it looks like to process a payroll. So once everything's been taken care of, all my employees are onboarded, I'm just going to elect to run payroll. See, I have this regular payroll scheduled. And at the bottom, speaking of that full nature, that transparent pricing, you'll see our other payroll options of bonuses, off cycles, and terminations. We also do new hire payrolls. You can run these at no additional charge. They can be canceled at any time. So it's very easy to, I had an underpaid employee or I need to pay a bonus. There is that termination situation. You can take care of that. Go ahead and select to run a regular payroll. Here's an example of a blend of salaried and hourly employees. We do support multiple pay schedules. To Brandon's point, we support multiple pay rates. You can add in additional earnings. If I go into other additional earnings, you'll see there's a paycheck tips and cash tips. So that was a question as well. This is where you would input those for the different employees. If you want to toggle between direct deposit and check, because we do allow for check PDF printing, that's something that can be easily done as well. Once everything's been reviewed, next piece, we'll just save and continue. Any data that's entered at this step, if you were to cancel a payroll, it's all preserved, which is really important. There's no, I have to go, I cancel a payroll, I have to type everything in again. We want to make this as seamless as possible. Here's the time off policies that I had gotten into. Customizable. You can see the number of hours that are remaining on a vacation or a sick. Once that's all been reviewed, I'll just go ahead and save and continue. And here we'll be generating the preview of exactly what Gusto is going to be pulling from the bank account and all of the different taxes that we'll be assuming the responsibility to pay. So at the top, you'll see what's getting taxed and debited. You can track everything Gusto is pulling from California taxes to any state, really. You can look at the federal taxes as well, any unemployment if that's what you're subject to. You can see direct deposits, any reimbursements. Gusto will also remit payments for child support. So we'll make direct payments to those agencies, and you can look at the taxes that we're going to be taking to remit those payments. There's also reports where you can track when Gusto has made the payments to the different agencies. So if you really want to stay on top of us, make sure that we're taking care of everything, you can pull that up directly in your account. And then you can see what the company's paying. So from a gross wages to company taxes to the benefits on top of those, because as we all know, it's not as simple as I'm paying just gross wages. There's going to be costs that are incurred by your nonprofit, by your church to make those payments to your different employees or contractors. And the last step is just to submit the payroll, and then you'll be all set and all good to go. You'll receive confirmation, and you'll have the option to print the checks, as I had mentioned. So I'll just elect to do this later. And boom, you're all set. Payroll's been run. If you're only salaried employees, we have an autopilot payroll feature. And then once this has been processed, we can then extract those, and you'll be able to extract those within your Aplos platform, pull those in, and make sure that those entries are captured based on the granularity you structured from those mappings that Risa had showed us. Some of the other features we'll just breeze through. You can pay 1099 contractors. We have time tracking, a basic time tracking solution. Benefits, we have integrated workers' comp that Brandon had touched on. We have different insights, and on the reporting side, tons of functionality year to date. I had mentioned those agency payments. You can look at the bank transactions, document storage, and then of course under settings, you'll be able to see when an Aplos account has been connected, and that means that you're all set to pull in the different information related to the Aplos integration. Very quick, very easy. When you're onboarded, you take advantage of your migrated services, you'll have this all ready to go and ready to run payroll very quickly and easily.
Awesome. Well, it looks just as easy for the employer as it does for the employee. So that's really cool to see.
That's good. Yeah. You've seen the employee view, and now you have a little insight into what the admin view looks like. So, we want to make it very intuitive. We want to be a tool for, an HR tool for non-HR pros is really, really key for us, because we understand that you want to run your nonprofit and run the church. You don't want to have that headache of dealing with all of the different HR tasks on the day-to-day, be able to process payroll.
Right. Awesome. All right. That was a good little glimpse there. So kind of moving on with our questions here. So this is a good one. So do we manually run pay runs, and can you do is it ad hoc runs as necessary?
Yeah, definitely. So I think we showed the option on that run payroll screen, but there's an off-cycle payroll that you can run at any time for any number of employees, any amounts. So we'll see year-end bonuses get run through there, kind of correction payments if someone was underpaid. So yeah, at any time, any payroll. Again, you can run payroll every day if you choose to.
Awesome. Right, next one here is, as a church's accountant, I am not seeing the pencil edit in the settings. Will I have to instruct my client to do the mapping? So prior to seeing that little pencil icon next to each individual, you will need to make sure your global account mapping is done first. So you'll want to do that first, and then once you import a pay run, that's when you'll go into step number 2 to do the individual mapping if necessary. And if you have any questions or you're still not sure, not seeing that pencil, just feel free to let us know at support@aplos.com, and we can definitely look in your account and take a look at what's happening there. Right. So does Gusto send out the quarterly 941 and payments?
Yep, yeah, definitely. And as soon as those have been prepped and sent, you'll be able to pull up your quarterly package within your Gusto account, which includes 941s. Here in California, DE9s and DE9Cs. Every form that we remit will be available. We also send an email to admins when we have a draft package prepped and ready to go. So we want you to be able to review those forms. Part of our customer service and our support teams is we'll handle amendments for no additional charge if you spot something that looks a little fishy. We'll go back. We'll help correct anything that's been wrong. If there's an exemption that got missed, that's what we're here for. We also have a full staff tax resolution team that deals with any notices. So you never have to hesitate to send us a notice you receive. We'll look into it. We'll even reach out to agencies. So not only are we remitting filings, we want to make sure that those are correct. We want to give you time to review, and we'll take care of any changes that need to be made.
Awesome. We got some awesome feedback here from Lisa Marie. She said, they already use Gusto and Aplos, and it really is this easy. Employees love Gusto, and it has taken hours off of her payroll process. And there are fantastic email reminders. So there you go, someone that, an organization or church that has been using us together. Just mentioned that it is that easy. So that's some good feedback there. And then, are there any discounts on Gusto's fees if they pay annually?
There are not. We do not have any annual pricing at this time. It is something that we will be looking into in the future, but at this moment in time, it's a month-to-month fee.
Okay, awesome. Is there a cost for direct deposit of payroll instead of printing?
Nope. We think we covered that. No additional fees for direct deposit. And again, we also really try and help guide employers who have employees with issues setting up their direct deposit. So we send emails of, I was unable to locate this bank account. I'm going to re-trigger a 1 cent deposit is what we do to find that out. We don't charge for any sort of bank errors related to that. We're really there to support and enable the admins to pay their employees and 1099 contractors.
Awesome. And now I have a user that asked if the webinar will be emailed. Yes, this webinar will be recorded, and as long as you are signed up for it, you will get this recorded copy in your email address. So look out for that. Let's see. If we have employees that are not paid in a particular month and we are still billed are we still billed the monthly user fee? Is the fee for all users or active users?
This is for the pricing, correct?
Yeah, so they're asking if they have employees that are not paid in one particular month, are they still going to be billed the monthly user fee for that user, even though they didn't get paid?
That's a great question. So one thing that's great about Gusto accounts is they're lifetime employee accounts. So what that means is even if I'm not with the company 3-4 years later, you'll always be able to go back and pull up your Gusto account, see those filings and those W-2s. And that also can pertain to part-time employees or employees that aren't being paid. You can remove them from the account. You can dismiss them. They'll still have access to their account, and then you can rehire them when you want to pay them again. The way our billing works is an active employee with an active account, W-2 employee, you will be paying for in that month. Contractors, on the other hand, you'll only be charged for that month in the month they're paid. So what we encourage our nonprofits and churches to do, if it's a temporary part-time, you can dismiss them, and then you can rehire them. All of their information will be preserved, from their bank accounts to their W-4 allowances. So yeah, it's active W-2 employees, but very easy to bring people off the profile, off of the platform and back onto the platform.
Awesome. All right. So I have a question that says, so the first step would be to sign up with Aplos and then Gusto. That is correct, because you want to take advantage of those free 3 months. So in order to take advantage of that, you need to sign up with Gusto through Aplos. So where I had showed you earlier, you go into Fund Accounting, Payroll. That's where you will see that green sign up with Gusto button. That's what you'll want to click on. So Aplos first, and you can sign up to Gusto through Aplos. Right. How do you set up the pastor if he has opted out of taxes?
Yeah, that is a great question. And again, our migrations team, we have tons of help center content, and Brandon and I have actually sat down with the onboarding team to walk them through this process. On each individual employee profile, there's a section where you can look at their exemptions. So at that point, you'd be adding the Social Security and Medicare exemption in line with the Self-Employment Contribution Act that's applicable to pastors. And you can also add in the allowances, the housing allowances, I should say, related to a pastor. So within each employee profile, you'll pull that up as an admin. You'll adjust the different exemptions. We'll apply those to the payrolls, and anything that needs to flow on to W-2s, we'll ask you at the end of the year, hey, does this housing allowance look correct? Is this what you want reported in box 16 of your W-2? So very easy on the employee side to set up those pastor exemptions.
And in the follow-up after this, we'll provide a link to a helpful article on how to set that up and everything.
Cool. Awesome. Right. Is it possible to get to get quotes for workman's comp and health insurance prior to starting service?
So not prior to starting service, but once you've enrolled in Gusto, you can start to look into our benefits offering. Every client needs to have Gusto Payroll in order to take advantage of the workers' comp or the benefits. But that being said, once you're on Gusto Payroll, we do have an experience that's very kind of kayak-like, where you can look at the different plans, find those different plans that are best suited for your business from a cost and coverage perspective. Same thing goes for workers' comp. When you go through enroll in workers' comp, we provide you with a quote, some different options that we feel are best suited to your business. We also have full pay-as-you-go policies that can be incorporated into Gusto.
And I just want to add one item around health benefits pricing. So a lot of the pricing is actually set by the government, and so the pricing you'll see in our system is not pricing that Gusto comes up with. We don't have added fees on top of that or anything. We're just showcasing the different pricing between Kaiser, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Aetna, and others. So you won't really see a lot of differences in pricing between different platforms. The value that Gusto provides there is the integration with your payroll, so you're not making mistakes and you're treating everything correctly, and the automated platform that we have.
And you'll be able to adjust company contributions as well, which can factor into that as well, whether you're assuming the cost full for the benefits, or if you're picking up partial costs. So that's all something. We have a team of benefit advisors that you can work with, and we'll walk you through that entire process, whether it's a new plan you're enrolling with or transferring a plan into Gusto. We have the licensed brokers on staff that can help take care of those different pieces.
All right, here we are. All right, so for paid time off, does it track leave requests or just accruals?
So we handle, I guess, tracking PTO requests, if that's the question. Any PTO request that's been submitted or approved is logged within our system, so you'll be able to pull those up. And conversely, if you want to just enter in the hours for paid time off directly into the platform, we'll also adjust the balances based on what's been put in there. Employees will be able to see those balances on their pay stubs, whether it's sick or vacation. Admins will be able to run reports related to those different paid time off amounts. So you can leverage paid time off requests, look at all the historical ones, and always track the balances on a per employee basis, or however the PTO policies are structured.
Cool. Awesome. Right. Is it possible to pay a 1099 person on a regular check, but still issue a 1099 at year end?
Definitely. And that's a pretty common way that people leverage our 1099 service is you can pay them outside of our system via check, or that you can pay them with a check within Gusto, as long as the total amount that you pay them through the year is input into Gusto. We'll file the 1099 related to that. So, if you were paying checks previously with a different provider or outside of Gusto, you simply just need to input that amount, and we'll remit the 1099 with the correct total. And the contractor at that point with their own Gusto account will have access to that 1099, so you don't even have to send that over to them.
Awesome. And that kind of leads to this next question, which is a great one, by the way, is how does the quarterly reporting get handled? If I start with one payroll company and switch to Gusto, do the feds get 2 reports, or do you handle 100% of the quarter?
It definitely depends on the timing and what's been remitted. The last thing we want to do is remit 2 filings. So the way the agencies work is they always base every tax payment off of the check date or when someone's been paid. So if you have a check date that falls into, let's say, quarter 1, so in the month of March, and your last check date is going to be with Gusto, we'll send that filing. If your first check date was, say, in April, then your previous provider would want to submit the filing. So we'll make sure and ensure there's no duplicate filings, but it's all based on that last check date received within the other payroll provider. But yes, we're very, very, and we don't want to submit the payments to filings, because depending on which filing comes in first, they may not accurately calculate the taxes that are owed. So again, being super well versed in that regards, and it's based off the check dates that you have with the different providers.
Awesome. Great. And then, do you handle wage garnishments if they come up?
Yep, definitely. They can be input. We have customizable deductions. We have, you can put in federal tax liens, different pieces. We actually submit child support garnishments. Those are the only types of garnishments we submit directly through Gusto. But what we do is, as they're put into the Gusto system, we withhold the correct amount from their paycheck, so that you as a company are paying them less in relation to the amount of those garnishments or deductions.
Cool. Awesome. And as somebody asked, I have already set up my January payroll with ADP. Can I start entering everything this month and migrate and set up everything for February and get February through April free?
Yeah. So it's based off of when you process the payroll. So you can start the migration today if you wanted to. I'm highly encouraged. And if you start that migration today and kick off the process, start to get the employees going, and work with one of our advisors or migration teams on what the payroll entails and all the features you'll be getting, the 3 months is not going to kick in until you process the payroll in February. And so then you get that February, March, and April taken care of free of charge.
Cool. Awesome. And I'm going to kind of try to go through these last few questions fairly quickly. We have about just maybe about 3 more minutes. So Christopher asked, what if you already imported the payroll checks? That is fine. If you've already imported them, you can just dismiss the pay run from your payroll tab. All right. Do employees have access to their personal account, and how does Gusto handle time off for employee? If it's okay, I can go ahead and take this one. From the standpoint of an employee, I do have access to my own personal account, so I can log in to Gusto. I use my email and my own password, and I can see my pay stub, any time off I have, any benefits I have, my pay rate, all of that stuff. And then I can go in there and request any time off. I can put in the number of hours I would like to take in there, my date, and I can even put in a reason why to let my employer know why it is that I want to take time off or what it's for. All right. Same question, is there an employee portal for Gusto to see their personal info with sick leave and vacation accrual? Yes. As an employee, I can see any sick time that I have left, any PTO, paid time off that I have left. Those are the benefits that my employer offers. And I can see how many hours I have, how many I have requested, any upcoming vacation I'm going to take. I can handle all of that through my login. Let's see, what if a church is struggling and an employee payroll needs to be suspended for a week? Can the church call you and do this?
So this is extending an invoice?
I'm not sure. It says if the church is struggling and an employee payroll needs to be suspended. We might need some more clarification on that question.
Well, what I would say is you can process payroll like a late payroll. We're not regularly going to pull funds until you actually hit submit. So the timing is really up to you as a business. So obviously you want to communicate it properly with your employees, but there's not a regular cadence to pulling the funds until you've actually pressed go on the payroll.
Okay. All right. And then is there an extra charge for the employee to have direct deposit?
No.
Okay. Can pay runs be auto withdrawn? Or do we have to run each one manually?
Yeah, so we can do autopilot for the payrolls as long as they're all salaried employees, which makes sense because for an hourly employee, you're going to have to know how many hours they worked. You don't want to automatically pay them. But yeah, so if you have a few salaried employees, you can do autopilot. If you split your pay schedules, you could have autopilot for salaried and non-autopilot for hourly until those hours get entered.
Right. So the next one is Gusto. How do you get I'm assuming vacation policy to accrue for a tenure person?
Tenure is in. So the balances you put in are customizable along with the policies. So what I'd say is any balance can be adjusted at any time. So, if they've accrued a number of hours over the year and it's not resetting every year, you can go in and change that at any time.
Awesome. And how far in advance of a payday must pay information be entered?
So it's 2-day processing time. We do have a bit of an assurance process to get on 2-day, but it would be no longer than a 4-day processing time. But the majority of our customers have 2-day, meaning you'll run it on Wednesday to be paid on Friday. And the cutoff time to enter data on that Wednesday would be 7 p.m. Eastern time or 4 p.m. West Coast.
Perfect. And do you handle the new WAFML deductions /filing?
I guess and maybe this is a good follow-up point. It depends what taxes it's related to. So I would have to. We do have a full stack compliance team. So if there's anything related to payroll taxes that we need to adjust for from a legal regulation side, we do incorporate every new rule at every time. So I'm confident that if it is related to payroll taxes, employment taxes, we'll take care of it. If it's related to some tax that's out of our realm, then we wouldn't do it like say a sales tax or something along those lines.
Okay. So next question is, if for some reason we leave Aplos, can we stay with Gusto? Not sure why you would want to leave Aplos, but I'm assuming yes, they would still be able to keep their Gusto account, right?
Yep, that is correct. But then you'd be missing out on the value of the Aplos integration, which is top.
Exactly. All right. I think this one's specific to the state of Washington. So I'm in Washington State. Our payroll has L&I and paid.
Yeah. So I know we're running out of time and we can get the rest of the questions, but we do support all the L&I risk class codes. We'll take care of every employment tax in Washington. We take care of. I know we got to wrap and any other questions, please feel free to send. We'll send the webinar. We'll send the slides that are necessary, all the resources. And yeah, thanks so much to everyone for attending. And it's been really great and informative. Love the participation and all the questions that are coming in.
Yes, absolutely. And if you like, again, if you have questions as far as the integration with Aplos and that good stuff, and you can feel free to give us a call at 888-274-1316. There is my personal email, maritza@aplos.com, and then the support email as well. So feel free to let us know, and you will be receiving a copy of this recording in your email, so feel free to look out for that. All right, and I'd like to thank everyone again for attending and your time here spent today with us. And we hope we can grab your partnership and get you on board with Aplos and Gusto. So.
All righty.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.